Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this Startwell Scrutiny Committee on the 8th of September 2025. So may I remind everybody present that the meeting is being live streamed as well as recorded via the internet, and this recording is archived for future viewing. If a participant wishes to speak, can they please use the remote raise hand function? And when invited to address by the chair, please could all participants ensure that their microphones are muted and the camera is on to ensure that they can be seen and heard when actively participated. Sorry. Please ensure that all debate is raised verbally and not via the chat function for the sake of the recording. Can I welcome all committee and non-committee members, cabinet members, our officers, and also anyone watching the live broadcast of this meeting of the Startwell Scrutiny Committee. So now on to the agenda, please. So apologies for absence. I've only received apologies from Councillor Rhiannon Birch, a cabinet member. Do we have any others?
Yeah, obviously Councillor Rhys-Thomas, the chair's given his apologies as well, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Okay, so item 2, to agree the minutes of the meeting held on the 7th of July 2025. Are we happy to approve? Yes?
Happy to approve, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Hennessy. And do we have any declarations of interest? Item 3, and the nature of such interest.
Sorry, Chair, I believe Dr. Price has something to say, perhaps on the minutes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Dr. Price, over to you.
The very last item on the minutes relates to the decision about whether or not co-opted members could vote on a particular item. I don't think that the minute actually reflects what happened at the end of the meeting. I've watched it through and I'm aware that legal advice was taken afterwards. As a co-opted member, I'm allowed to vote on items which have an educational consequence. And the decision was made that that was a procedural matter. I'd just like it recorded that I do not agree with that particular interpretation. I'm aware that nothing can be done about it, but I would like it recorded.
So can I just check then, Martin, are you saying that the minutes are incorrect?
I think the minutes don't particularly reflect what happened at the end of the meeting in relation to the voting, and the legal point that was made, which is about co-opted members being able to vote on education matters and not on procedural matters, that the particular thing that was being discussed then was actually an educational matter rather than a procedural matter. And I'd like that recorded, please.
Okay, thank you. But we do have that on item 4. As you know, it is on the agenda, so it will be discussed. So
I think it's just a question about, I think we can discuss it later, but the minutes, I do not feel that the minutes actually reflect that.
Sorry, can I come in there, Chair? Obviously, the minutes are obviously put together by myself, Chair, and they're not verbatim, Chair. They're just a summary of what took place. If Mr. Price could be a bit more specific exactly what he feels the minutes don't cover.
There was a considerable kerfuffle at the end of the meeting in relating to whether or not the co-opted members' votes would be taken or not. And then it was decided that legal advice would be taken later. And I'm not particularly clear that they're saying that subject to legal advice around the voting. I think following legal advice around the voting might be a better way of saying it rather than subject to.
Okay, that's up to the committee then, Chair, if that's proposed, and the members of the committee are happy, Chair, can make that amendment with the committee's approval.
Councillor Hennessy, you want to come in?
Yeah, Chair, I'm happy to suggest that we do that. Look, we're discussing it in precisely 3 minutes. It's here and I can remember it. I think let's just do it and then we can discuss it afterwards. I think it's the easiest way around it.
Okay, is everybody agreed? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we can move on now. If we have any declarations of interest. Sorry, Councillor Penn, you'd like to come in.
Yeah, just wanted to say apologies. I was having some technical issues.
Okay.
I still had Teams open, so apologies for my late entrance, but I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Penn. So, Councillor Penn, we're just moving on to declarations of interest. So does anybody have any declarations? No, Gareth? No declarations?
Nothing's come through to me, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now we are on to item 4, which is to confirm voting rights for co-opted members of the Startwell Scrutiny Committee. So, Gareth?
Yeah, this is just a standing item that we put on the agenda for all meetings going forward, Chair, following the meeting in July. So, obviously, we have 4 co-opted members with co-opted rights, with voting rights, Chair. That is Dr. Martin Price, Claire Werrett, Lucy Barraclough, and it was Jelaine van der Burch, Chair, but obviously Jelaine has just come off in the last couple of days because she's no longer a parent governor. But she's been replaced by Cathy Riddick, who is on the call. So if I could ask Cathy to come on screen and we just introduce herself, Chair, so we just all know what Cathy looks like. Cathy, if you could press,
welcome, Cathy.
if you press the request to speak button, Cathy, that should bring you on screen.
There we go.
Hi, Cathy. Welcome to Startwell.
Thank you. Pleased to be here. I'm currently the chair of Whitmore. We're just about to tomorrow appoint new chair of the new federated governing body of Whitmore, Pencoitra and the Barry Sixth Form. And I'm also chair of the SACRE, the Standing Advisory Council on Religious Education. So
lovely. Thanks very much for that introduction. And hopefully we can always have productive meetings. Thank you, Cathy.
So, Chair,
okay,
Chair, just confirm the 3 members. So we've got on the call, we've got Cathy Riddick, Dr. Martin Price and Claire Werrett. So those 3 members can vote, Chair, on tonight's report, which is our agenda item 5. Lucy Barraclough's not joined us, Chair. I'll keep an eye out, but at the moment we've got 3 members with co-opted rights. And I don't know if Dr. Price wanted to come back on some of his points he made previously. Sorry, Chair, and Geraint Scott would like to speak as well.
Yeah, Geraint's come up. Over to you, Geraint.
Yeah, I guess it's a question I've raised to Democratic Services, and I raised it with the chair as well.
Yeah.
I'm slightly confused because as the representative for Welsh medium schools, I don't understand, and I've asked this question a number of times, based on the numbers that are going through those schools, why the representative for Welsh medium schools doesn't have the same voting rights as the other members who are representing governing bodies. And I think that needs to be, I've raised it before and I've been referred to Welsh Government documentation, but I don't think that actually sufficiently answers the question.
Okay, so, sorry, Geraint, is there a rep on the governing bodies from Welsh medium schools?
That's
I'm
me.
Assuming.
I am the representative from governing bodies of Welsh medium schools, and that's, as I understand it, my role on this committee, on this scrutiny committee. So just ask the question. I've asked it a couple of times. Why? And I don't have any issue with Faith Schools of Martin is an excellent representative, and other representatives of governing bodies have voting rights in education matters, but based on the significant number of pupils going through Welsh medium schools, if I am to represent them on this committee, why those voting rights aren't afforded to myself as well on relevant matters.
If I
Gareth, do we have any advice on that?
Yeah, the basic answer, Chair, is that the rights are approved by Council, Chair, and they've been granted to the 4 co-opted members in the 4 areas. Welsh language, Chair, is probably historic. We can look at it again, Chair. I'll raise the matter with the head of Democratic, but it would need approval by full. The rights change of the rights would need approval by full council, so that require a report in the future, Chair. But I'll raise it with the head of Democratic, and we'll have a discussion. And if there's any reason why not, Chair, then obviously we'll report that. But let's let Democratic have a look at it, Chair, and we'll make steps as appropriate.
Thank you, Gareth. Martin, you wanted to come back in.
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate my concern about the last meeting, which there was, if you remember, just to recap for those who weren't there was a vote relating to which of 5 educational matters should be the priority of those for task and finish groups. And my contention was that that is an educational matter. It's 5 educational matters to be prioritised. And the legal decision from the monitoring officer is that it was actually a procedural position. I'd just like to record somewhere that I disagree with that and have been taking it up with the monitoring officer.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Councillor Goodjohn.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just make the point after what Geraint said earlier, Mr. Scott, that as part of the reshaping scrutiny proposals, we have been relooking at the way that non-voting observers partake in meetings and the way that we handle our scrutiny meetings to make sure more members of the public can be involved. So I would hope that as we raise this with the head of Democratic Services, this can be part of a wider review of the scrutiny committees and what kind of observers from the public, from schools representatives and other relevant bodies for different committees can be involved and make sure that they have as much of a say as possible within the committee.
Thank you, Councillor Goodjohn. So I think that is just to note, and that will be, as Gareth says, an agenda item on every meeting. So unless anybody else has got any questions on that, move on to item 5, which is the consultation on the proposal to create new delivery models for enhanced and sustainable specialist provision. And that is a reference to Cabinet from the 17th of July 2025. So I believe we have Liz Jones on the call and Katie Williams. Is that correct, Gareth?
Yes, Chair, and Aaron Morwen Thomas, Chair. So I think it's probably best.
Aaron Morwen.
It's best to hand over to Liz, and perhaps you can set the scene, Chair.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Chair. Well, if it's okay with you, I will very swiftly hand over to Katie to take you through this. But if I start off by saying Scrutiny is well aware, because we've presented before, there is an exponential growth in additional learning needs, and we are looking to transform our services to be able to meet the increasing need. So if I hand over to Katie, we have suggestions that we would like to put forward for consideration, please. Thank you. Katie, if you wouldn't mind taking over.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Katie.
Sorry, there's a bit of a lag, I think, so I'll just give it time to catch up. So hopefully you've all had a copy of the report that, and the proposal going to Cabinet. There's 2 main things really that we are proposing. One of them is a resource base at Halton Primary School. That's for 4 to 11-year-olds, which can be accessed through a panel process of children that have significant difficulties around anxiety and in relation with ASC. That's a part-time provision, and there would be members of the school who would also be attending this provision. It's seen as an interim provision, so with a view of children accessing it for initially 2 terms, with the aspiration that they could then go back to their mainstream school full-time. So they will be in their mainstream school part-time. But it's really about upskilling and increasing confidence of the schools to be able to meet those needs. And the other proposal is around an enhanced engagement service. So we already have the engagement services working with our primaries. And really it's about putting a more enhanced support with our nursery to year 1 children. Not all of them, this is not just about ALN, but it's about presenting needs and the increase, as Liz referred to, around SEMH and really upskilling and increasing confidence within our schools and re-looking at provision, which is what all good schools do most of the time anyway, but it's supporting them around that, and providing an expanded EIB, which is an early intervention base, which is building on the success of what we've already done, whereby these children can access the provision that isn't already in St. Joseph's. Again, a bit like Halton, they would go for 2 days with a member of staff from the school, and then they'd be coming back to their school to be able to access their mainstream. But again, it's really about provision, it's about increasing confidence, upskilling, professional learning around that. And we've also identified a need in year 7 because of that vulnerable period of where we have children that move, from being in year 6 going into year 7. And we've got children that are neurodiverse, but also with anxiety, SEMH, and trying to be a lot more preventative and proactive as opposed to constantly being reactive around that. So those were the main things I hope I've covered on there, but I didn't know if anybody had any questions.
I do, Katie. And firstly, just for members of the public that might be on this call, can you just clarify what SEMH means?
Social, emotional and mental health.
Lovely.
So, and it can, sometimes it's communication as well, and then it presents itself as social, emotional and mental health. So it's really unpicking that and, doing as much as we can really in a supportive role. And I think that's from listening to schools too, about what they need and want and what would be helpful for them. Because, we want to get better ultimately at what we're doing. And hopefully the task and finish group I know that we've got alongside this will be helping us review and be looking at the scope of, are we doing the right thing and how well are we doing it?
Yeah. Thank you, Katie. Just to clarify for those who are listening, we do have a task and finish group within Start Well Scrutiny, and that is looking at the 10 current resource bases that we have. Well, just, scrutinising those resource bases and just looking at what provision we actually do have and what the quality is. So thank you, Katie. Were we going to have any comments from, who else was going to, it was Katie and Liz and Morwen, please. And do we have any questions from Scrutiny also? Yeah, Morwen, I think you're on.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll come off. Give you room.
I think you're on mute, Morwen. Sorry.
Sorry. Oh gosh, these buttons. No, there was nothing for me to add, Chair. Katie has certainly covered it all off. Thank you.
Thank you both. I think we do have a question from Stephen Haynes. Councillor Haynes.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Katie. It's a bit of clarification, really. When the children travel on the part-time, 2 days a week, they have to be accompanied by a teacher or someone from the home school. If there's 2 children or 3 children from that school at the same time, is it one teacher or the number one person per child, or can that be?
It's quite flexible because we're also moving away from this idea that all of our children have to have an adult next to them to cope. So it's just really about creating independence, but it's very flexible in terms of, if we've got one member of staff, and sometimes they could take it into, in different times, different people could access that. And we do welcome people always to visit the bases and, to be able to gather that information.
as it, obviously it's helpful for the staff in the school to attend anyway, but I am a little bit concerned if these resources, this need is growing, that the school's going to end up losing resources to special units, and
I suppose
children left in the school may suffer.
Yeah, sorry. I suppose the idea is as well is that as you're upskilling staff, that they'll have that skill set then, and they don't have to, and again, the view is that this is interim, so it's not for always forever. So for some children, of course, they may need move on to different places, or they may need another term, and that's so yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Haynes. Councillor Asprey, you'd like to ask a question? If you press the middle button.
Yeah, sorry. One of my questions was going to be about what if they needed another term, and you've answered that. But I'm not sure if I've read it in the document, but who will be on the panel and when will they meet? And will it be just discussing individuals and individuals' needs? I wasn't clear on that.
That's okay. I think this is where I was saying it'd be really useful if the ALN team came to a scrutiny to one of the Start Well, so that they could explain the process. So we have an ALN or an ALP panel, and that is, we're changing the way that we run it. Every year we review and improve our systems. But it's a panel whereby children can be referred to it, and then you have there's different membership on the panel of specialist teachers, and sometimes we have head teachers there as well as our ALN staff and our IDP officers and caseworkers. And then we're looking at the evidence, we're looking at there's certain criteria, we're looking at the need of the child and whether they need specialist or not, and decisions are made. There's lots of decisions made at these panels, but that's the legal process for ALN. So I think it would be good at some point for the ALN team to come, and then you can have that knowledge of what those panels are and what they look like and how they run.
And if a pupil does need an extra term, it will be the panel that will decide that, or will it be the teachers within the base that will be promoting the child has an extra term?
It would usually, sorry.
The people who work with the pupils usually know them better than a panel.
Yeah, and those and there are specialist teachers, so we look at their advice, we look at their evidence, and they might be invited to that panel to present that. So right. It's very much. I totally understand what you're saying about the people that know the child best. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And Martin Price, you'd like to come in?
Hi. It's not really a question. It's more a statement. I'm very pleased to see that the EIB is working so well at St. Joseph's. So it's, the Catholic sector actually helping the wider Vale community in a good way. And I'm just wanted to say how supportive we are of the expansion of the services from the EIB. And I think the way in which St. Joseph's has worked with the EIB has been quite useful over the last couple of years. So I'm just being positive and supportive. Thank you.
Thank you for that positive comment, Martin. Claire Werrett, you'd like to come in?
Hi, Katie. Can you hear me? Is that okay?
Yeah,
brilliant. Hi. It's positive for me as well. Obviously, I'm well aware of the need, especially with anxiety and the presenting issues that children have coming into school. So it's very positive and supportive for me as well. I was just wondering, out of interest, to be sort of moved to the unit at Houghton, is it a referral directly to panel, or would the children be sort of assessed by your specialist teachers first? What is the process for a child that maybe is in school who is suffering from anxiety, is getting in the way of their learning, it's a barrier? How do staff manage that? What do they what do they do in order to get them considered for this? Is it a referral? It's different in every authority, the way that these things work. So I just wondered if you could give me an idea of that process, just briefly, if you could.
Yeah, of course. So they would have tried various different strategies. They would have followed advice and sought advice. And I would have expected that the engagement service, for instance, under YYD would have been out, because that's one of the first things that you would do is look at, is there anything that we can do? They provide or help with reports, you know, and the school obviously has its own evidence. They could then put a consideration in to the panel with all of these bits of advice. And, you know, you've got educational psychologists, you've got lots of different people that can be involved with the child within the mainstream first. And you'd really be
expect. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut over again. To say you'd expect that evidence bank to be put together first before that referral goes in. That's fine. That's all I wanted to ask. But Martin, I do feel very supportive of it because of the need. It's quite clear. So and it was very clearly put across tonight. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Payne.
Thank you, Claire. Okay, if we don't have any more questions. Gareth, sorry on this, Katie. Can we record Julie Lynch-Wilson's apologies from the beginning of the meeting, please? It was missed out.
No problem, Chair. No worries, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Katie, is there anything you'd like to add? I mean, it's a bit of an innovation, isn't it? And it's something positive that we're doing in terms of, you know, looking at the needs of our pupils from age 4 to 11. You know, did you have any more comments that you wanted to make?
No, just that we value as well, I think, the support from the Task and Finish group around this as well, because it is a pilot. And as every good, you know, idea that you have, you still want to constantly be evaluating how well that is going and the impact, really. So just that, yes, it's a great time having that Task and Finish group as well. So
yeah. My only thing I'd like to say is around the role of parents in this. So what involvement do parents have? Obviously, we know that there'll be specialist teachers in the school who've assessed the children, and then it will go to panel. Where are parents in this?
So we gather parents' views as well, so they'll be involved. We have pupil-centred planning meetings. And again, when the ALN team come, if they can, to Scrutiny, they can talk through that and how the parent is very much part of, you know, we gather their views as well, and they're taken along on that journey. So usually very supportive around it. So yeah, it's communication really, that's the main thing and that's important. So
lovely. I think, you know, it's quite comprehensive. I think there's a lot of work gone into this as well. You know, it's good that we're leading the way in terms of maintaining our ALM provision as well and our support for pupils. So well done, Katie and Liz and Morwen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments, Gareth? Gareth just came on and went back off again.
I did, Chair. Obviously, I'm just waiting for any other comments. Otherwise, Chair, obviously, it's whether the committee are happy to support, endorse proposals, or simply note the Chair. But obviously, I'll leave that up to the committee.
Councillor Hanks, you wanted to come in.
Thank you, Chair. I was just going to say the consultation starts, I believe, today. Will we get feedback into the Task and Finish, or will that be in time, or could we see that consultation when it comes back, the results?
Yeah, I'm assuming we will as Scrutiny, but the consultation, which is contained in our minutes, in our agenda, has gone live today on the website. So just for members of the public and councillors, that consultation is out today. And yes, Gareth, I'm making the big assumption that we will get that feedback if requested by Scrutiny from the consultation.
That's probably one for Katie, Chair, because I don't know whether it's planned for it to come back. Because the way I read it, Chair, is this committee is happy, then that will obviously go back to as part of the consultation. But I don't think there's a report due to come back on the consultation. But that doesn't mean the TNF groups can't perhaps have some feedback as part of that work. I think that was Councillor Hanks's question more than scrutiny, which is obviously more pertinent to the TNF review that's going on, Chair. So I'm sure we can have a discussion with Katie as the group progresses over the next few weeks and months, Chair.
Well, task and finish is separate anyway, because we know that's around the 10 resource bases. But in terms of this consultation, I am assuming, Sally, that was kind of your question as well.
Yeah.
Are we going to get the feedback?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Is there something you want to add to the work programme, Chair?
I think it would be good for us to have the feedback. I mean, we've been involved in the process, and it is a bit of an innovation. It's something positive, and it's, I think it would be good for us, to see, what the evaluation is of the provision. That would be great.
Okay, we'll try and
I don't know what other people think.
We could timetable into the work programme, Chair, so but it's up to you, obviously.
Yeah, is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Timetable into the work programme?
Yeah.
Sally, you happy with that?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it would just be nice to have the feedback from it. It hasn't got to be a huge report, but it would be nice to get the feedback from it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you for raising that, Sally. Does anybody else have any other questions on item 5? No? Okay. So unless anybody does quickly, that would be any other items that the chair deems urgent. We have none. So date of next meeting, Gareth?
Sorry, Chair, could you just go back to obviously the substantive item today? Obviously, we haven't technically got a formal resolution. You want an update report. Do you want any concrete around the actual proposal, Chair? Is the committee happy to endorse the proposals?
We're happy to endorse it, yeah. I did ask if we're all happy to support, and there was no dissent, so I'm assuming that we're all happy to support.
Okay, Chair,
then to have some feedback, that would be great.
Okay, Chair, thank you.
Scrutiny, and then no urgent items. So do we have the date of next meeting, Gareth, is my next question.
Yes, Chair, it's November the 10th. Thank you.
November the 10th, okay. Thank you very much, Gareth. Thank you everybody for their contribution, and looking forward to what this evaluation of item 5 is. So thank you, everybody, and good evening. Noswaith dda.